survive. You understand? But we really want to get away from the cannatarian because there's a lot of preservatives, additives. These things cause inflammation. Okay. Now, let's go to the treatment. Treatment for inflammation. TX, if you ever see this on the doctor paper, that means treatment. DX is diagnosis. HX is history. Okay? So we learned meat causes inflammation. Increased cholesterol causes inflammation. But remember, where does the cholesterol come from? Animal products, right? If you remove the animal products, you don't have to worry about the cholesterol. You don't have to worry about the diabetes. You don't have to worry about the heart disease. You don't have to worry about the allergies. Are we seeing a pattern? Yes. Okay. Now, what inflames the body? We talked about this stuff earlier, but now we're going to talk about other things. Right. We're going to talk about other things besides food. Okay. A decrease in water. Of all the things, first of all, we need to go through the laws of health, correct? But if we're dealing with people who are meat eaters, we know the culprit's the meat. It's the eggs, it's the cheese, it's the... But if it's a person who's a vegan, or, excuse me, strict vegetarian, 100% plant-based eater, then this is the #1 culprit for arthritis, even in people who eat meat. If they increase their fluid intake, the pains tend to decrease. The pain level decreases. Because what happens is your bones are thirsty, they can dry out, the blood goes to the bones. So decreased water causes inflammation.
You have that book,
Your Body's Cries for Many Water. Excellent book. Who has that book? Okay. Excellent, excellent book. Okay. Sugar causes inflammation. Do you know it poisons the blood? And I'm talking succinate. I'm talking 100% dried crystals. I'm talking any type of sugar. It doesn't matter if it's the healthy sugar. If they even say when they did the test at Loma Linda, and they put the good sugar in the little Petri dish with the bacteria and the white blood cells, even the good sugar prevented the white blood cells from doing what they needed to do. What was the sweetener God gave his people in the Bible? Besides the fruit?
Honey.
Yes, honey. So we want to try to stick to the honey if we're not diabetic and really leave the raw sugar alone. Some cases you want to use it, okay, but I think we use too much of it. And when the prophet of the Lord wrote about sugar, that is not good for the body, I don't believe she was talking about the CNH white bleached sugar of today, because when she wrote that in 1860-something, I don't think they had those factories. I think they were using the pure stuff. Does that make sense? Yes. So sugar causes inflammation. Okay, what else? Spices. We talked about spices last week, right? For other diseases. Spices cause inflammation. Now remember, we learned that people who deal with perversion, do you know that they find that those heavy into secret vice, everyone knows what I'm talking about, right? Masturbation, or high eater of spices. Name some spices.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, what else?
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg, what else? What'd you say?
Chili.
Well, that's a combination of a bunch of chili itself, chili powder. Oh, you're talking about peppers?
No, yeah, I was just talking about chili.
Chili powder? Well, that's a combination of a bunch of spices
okay,
together.
I'll still put certain peppers.
Come on, let's name some other ones. Okay, let's say peppers. All peppers. Now, we're not talking about your bell peppers. We're talking about your spicy peppers. Okay? Black pepper. That's included, white pepper, black pepper. But you get the idea of what we're saying when we say spices, correct? Okay? What else causes inflammation? Remember we talked about, this comes up in everything, huh? Vinegar? All these items seem to come up in everything, don't they? But when you're dealing with somebody who's 100% plant-based, a lot of them eat a lot of sugar, they drink coffee, they drink green tea, so those are things that we need to find out. But water, this is a major culprit, a decrease in water. Vinegar poisons the blood and causes inflammation. We talked about additives. Okay. Okay, what else? Alcoholic beverages. Isn't it kind of the same items in every disease? It's the same items, isn't it? So did the prophet of the Lord know what she was talking about when she said to leave these things alone?
Yes.
She's 100+ years ahead of medical science. Okay, besides flesh itself, alcoholic beverages and the use of milk, eggs are the #1 item. Richest in arachidonic acid that produces what's called prostaglandin 1, which is one of the principal precursors that causes inflammation of the joints. And we talked about earlier, one egg can cause inflammation in the body for 30 days. Does everyone see all this? So, now, let's say you're dealing with somebody, they're 100% vegetarian, and they don't eat sugar, they don't drink coffee, they don't use vinegar, they don't use any of the bad stuff. Then what's this? Because that was step #1. Step #1 was the meat, the eggs, and all those items. Now, what's step #2?
Prevention.
No. Nightshade foods. Anyone ever heard
Yes.
of that? Nightshade foods. Now, what are the nightshade foods?
Eggplants,
Okay. Keep going.
eggplants, bell peppers,
Keep going. Eggplant, bell peppers,
Tomatoes.
tomatoes,
Squash. Nice. I never heard.
and Irish potatoes.
potatoes, yes.
Not your red potatoes. Not your sweet, when I say red, I mean your orange. Not your sweet potatoes. Even they say the red's okay. It's the Irish potatoes. Those white with the brown skin. Some may not do well with the potatoes with the red skin. But I hear some who can't do nightshade foods can eat the red potatoes. Some can't eat the Irish or the red, but the sweet potatoes, the orange potatoes, those are not included. So these are your nightshade. So this is step 2. Then you have to remove these foods from there. And the purpose for this is 5 to 10% of the population are allergic to these items. 5 to 10%. These foods contain solanine. We talked about the solanase found with marijuana, a substance that penetrates the immune barrier and creates a painful reaction. These have a little bit. They destroy the functions of the cells and deposit free radicals as waste. This will trigger the arthritis action. The inflammation will start. The body reacts by making large amounts of an immunoglobulin antibody and attacks the solanine microorganisms and renders them harmless. But 5 to 10% of the population are allergic to these foods. Now remember, when we were dealing with allergies, I believe that number 5 to 10% is even less. And why is that? Does anyone remember? Because a lot of times, if you're eating the meat and the dairy, remember dairy is the #1 cause of allergies. And then does anyone remember what #2 cause is? Shellfish. And do you remember what #3 cause is? Fish. And you have the cheese. What happens is, a lot of times, it will manifest in the mango or the wheat or something, seeming that that's what's causing the allergy. But the true culprit is the main items we said cause allergies. When you remove those items, then a lot of times they won't have the problems with these. But then when you're dealing with a 100% plant-based eater and they're not eating any of that, then you can say they're allergic to these items. Okay, now let's go to the treatment. We're almost finished here. So treatment. Flaxseed is anti-inflammatory. Didn't we use flaxseed for cholesterol and diabetes and that stuff. We should just put it in our, it's food, so use it. It's inexpensive and it's excellent. It's high in omega-3s. You don't need fish oil to get omega-3s.
That's right.
Walnuts are high in omega-3s. Flaxseed is high in omega-3s. Okay, so you want 2 tablespoons grounded fresh daily. And does anyone remember within how many minutes?
30.
You have to eat it 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes.
Oh, once you ground it up?
Yes, because it loses its medicinal
I
components.
remember eating it
Its
like that.
essence.
Okay? Turmeric.
They sell about a bag like that.
Curcumin. Huh?
Turmeric, because the curcumin in it reduces inflammation.
Curcumin.
Now, if you take this, it will cause the urine to be yellow. It will be colored. And if you use it in capsule form, be sure it's 100% plant-based capsules. Okay? What else? Pumpkin seeds. Have we been talking about pumpkin seeds a lot? What are they high in? Magnesium. They're high in zinc. They're high in calcium. Pumpkin seeds are excellent. A lack of magnesium causes arthritis. So that's why they're important. They say when you're dealing with arthritis, 1/4 cup grounded fresh daily. And I have a recipe that is like a Caesar salad. Who likes Caesar salad? I love Caesar salad. But the dressing is a vinaigrette. I have a recipe that you use the grounded grounded pumpkin seeds and a few other items, and it tastes just, you put it in romaine lettuce, it looks and tastes just like Caesar dressing. It's delicious. I don't know by mine, so I will definitely send Caesar recipe. I will definitely email it to everyone. Okay. So a 1/4 cup grounded fresh daily. You can put this on your cereal. You can put it on your salad. And a 1/4 cup is not a lot. It's 4 tablespoons. So if you don't want to eat it all at once, you could do 2 tablespoons in the morning. Now normally we would only eat 2 tablespoons of seeds. But when you're dealing with this, a little bit more is not going to hurt you. They're not really high in fat. Okay, what else? Charcoal. Does anyone know why charcoal? It reduces the amount of inflammation in the body. It has what's called adsorption capability, which means the poison toxin, it's not attached to it, it sucks it up. So it's not going to fall out back into the body. It will pull it out of the body. And also warning, this will cause your stools to be black. A lot of people that I've given them charcoal totally forgot to tell them that, and they freaked out. Because you know, one of the signs of cancer is black stool. So they start, oh, I have cancer. Oh no, I forgot to tell you that. It makes your stool turn black. So if they take turmeric, let them know to make their urine turn colors. And if they do beet juice, it's going to look like there's blood in the urine or in the stool sometimes. Carrot juice will do the same, and charcoal will change the color of the stool.
We use that at UT Pines to test transit time. Charcoal.
What did you use?
Charcoal for transit time.
Okay, okay. And 2 hours before or 2 hours after medication, they say. Is that right, Letty?
Yes.
Do not ever take charcoal with medication. It has to be 2 hours before or 2 hours after, or it'll absorb all that medication. And then you can be in trouble with the doctor. And we want to be responsible, remember, when we're teaching people. Okay, how much charcoal? You can do a few tablespoons, a couple tablespoons.
2 tablespoons.
Okay, what else? 2 tablespoons of blackstrap. Boy, kind of seems like the same ingredients, same remedies for a lot of this stuff, huh? Blackstrap molasses. Why? Why blackstrap molasses?
High in
It's great for anti-inflammatory because of the high mineral content.